Thank you, Apostole. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I don't have a presentation. I will be a bit sombering with the challenges and the questions that we have to face from a ship owner's and ship manager's perspective. Interestingly enough, Apostolo started off this forum by talking and telling us that we have this platform over here and we're going to talk about safety and it's not about maritime economics. Well, he's wrong. It is about economics. At the end of the day, it is about money. Clay reminded us that the human element is important. We looked at Titanic, Costa, he's right. Most of the accidents are a result of human error, mismanagement at shore or at sea, as he correctly said. Mr. Giannoulis, Panos, went through a whole slew of new regulations that you need to go to university to understand, every 2 weeks that they change, with a million different ways of addressing them, new technologies which are untested, ships which are going to become hovercrafts with their lubrication, existing ships which will have to retrofit with scrubbers at a cost of $2 to $4 million, when today we're making less than operating expenses, a multitude of regulatory bodies, internationally, regionally, domestically in the States, everybody with their own agenda and with differing and contradicting regulations. And we as ship managers and ship owners are required to address this and make money at the end, because if we don't, we're just going to close down and go home. I find that a bit sombering. It is a very, very difficult and challenging time. History in shipping has shown that self-regulation has always been best. Apostle, I disagree with you. We don't need more regulation and best practices and soft issues. We need a proper culture to self-regulate and use best own practices in all areas. Classification societies were born out of ship owners, made to self-regulate. Flag administrations, with the exception of very few national flags which are going downhill, including the Greek flag, are businesses. That's all they are. Nothing more, nothing less. And you should treat them as that. We are a customer. If we don't get the service we want, at the price we want, in the way we want it, we move on to the next service provider. That is the culture we have. Gone are the days where the owners had the crews as family. Gone are the days where the people in the offices were those who came off from the ships and grew and matured with the ship owner and came to their offices and ran their ships. Those days are gone. We look for highly qualified personnel. We don't care if they're Greek, Chinese, Russian, Polish, or African. What we care is to get the best bang for the buck. I hate to say it, but it's true. So how do we deal with all these things? Culture, our own culture, the way that we do business, the way that we run our people, whether they're family or not, whether they're employed with us for 6 months or for 60 years. We have to go back to a few basic things. But with the realization of the world that has changed, of an ever-changing environmental reality and challenges, ever-changing regulatory framework, extremely difficult financial conditions. If this thing goes on, as Clay, I think, intimated, in the next few years, I can guarantee you that there'll be half the Greek shipping companies there are today. It's as simple as that. And we have done this to ourselves, of course, right? Because we lost our culture. We forgot what it is to run a healthy business and to make healthy profits, and at the same time make sure that we can run it efficiently, safely, to use the nice Greek word asphalia, which combines both safety and security. Safe ships, safe crews, secure ships, secure crews. So we have to deal with the human element, loss prevention, new regulations, lack of finance, diminishing culture in our business, possibly. The only barrier to entry in this business is capital. There is no other barrier. You have the capital, you can go buy a ship. How can you run a ship? How can you run a company, if you've done that, then you've got no culture behind you to do it. It's a question mark. I'm not saying people shouldn't do it, I'm just wondering. It's a challenge we have to deal with. We have been given the great opportunity, or rather the great blessing of having a history behind us in Greece, a tradition of excellence in owning and managing safe ships, in creating highly trained professionals both at sea and on shore, adapting to new realities and new technologies, and we've done so quite well till now. But now, the challenges are a lot, wide-ranging, and brought into our industry or upon our industry by outsiders, whether they be politicians in Brussels with the European Union or ineffective domestic politicians with poor domestic policies in Greece, whether it be the result of lobbying efforts of vested interests in the States or elsewhere to create new regulation and new sources of income and new expenses and cost bases for us, whether it be the fact that nobody in Greece wants to go to sea anymore. How do you have a culture when nobody goes to sea? 2 years ago, they asked the graduating class of the Merchant Academy at Aspropyrgos, how many of the deck cadets intend to go to sea? Less than 25% said they intend to go to sea. There you have it. We own, Greek shipping owns and controls more than 4,500 ships. We're lucky if there's 50 deck officers every year that want to go to sea from the academies. What culture? What tradition? What excellence can we maintain and create going forward? So we all change. We take our calculators out. We talk to our bankers. We run the numbers. Does it make sense? Yes, we do it. Does it not make sense? Instead of saying, no, we don't do it, we find a way around it. Overregulation by outside bodies, contradicting rules, contradicting laws, soft economic environment can only result in one thing, which is today's practice, and that is cutting corners, finding a way around it, finding the cheapest way to do it, and trying to lose the least amount of money possible today. And when the times become better, it'll be very easy to continue doing the same thing. Not because we'll be losing less, but we'll be making more profit. So, unfortunately, these are the challenges and questions that we have to deal with every day. I personally am overwhelmed by the amount of regulation that we have to deal with. And I can guarantee you I cannot follow it all. And I doubt that our technical people can follow it all. You need an army of people to do nothing else but follow regulation. And then you need another army of people to do nothing else but analyze the technology available to deal with the new regulation. And then you need an army of bankers to finance you to be able to address the new regulation. And then you need a healthy market. So I'll leave you with a sombering note, and I hope that we can discuss this further later on. Thank you.